Hi everyone, welcome again to another edition of Abbey Homestay, the Travel Podcast. Today is episode 5. Time seems to be flying by during the lockdown. I'm really hoping you are all enjoying what the topics are. Today is slightly, I'd say, slightly off topic, but definitely concentrated in what you're doing in terms of creating your own business. So today's topic will be around website building, basic. So don't think you're going to get everything rolled into an hour. There's definitely more to discuss after. But there will be a lot of information that hopefully will be of use to you all. I know one of the major things for us all when we're first starting out is ensuring that we get a solid foundation for what we want to do in terms of reaching the final customer, and especially in travel with things being very competitive, we need to make sure that we channel consumers to our website and we don't overwhelm them. But again, the premises is to ensure that you have a quite well-founded website and also market correctly and utilize some of the free services that are available, as well as using social media platforms to try and engage the customers into your website. So just to introduce our guest for today, his name is Jonathan Wall. He's the founder of the Build Hub and owner of a free website advice group on Facebook called Build My Own Website, which he's building his followers on now. He is experience-wise is over 20 plus years. This is across multiple functions, but he is very well equipped in providing advice, both on a cost basis and some free advice as well. Hence the group that he's added on Facebook, which seems to be very successful. And I like the idea of what he's doing, because he's not just offering that service in terms of paid, but he's giving you that flexibility to understand what it takes to be able to create a functional and transparent website for your customer. So just to hand over to you, Jonathan, just first of all, again, I want to say thank you for joining today. Appreciate times are busy, and we're all trying to grasp as much revenue as we can during this time. So I appreciate you coming today. So I guess just to start off with, it would be great for just the guys just to understand who you are, what the Facebook group contains, if it's worth them joining, and then we can follow on from there.
My background, as you said, 20 years. That's gone from PR with the NHS to running a small agency and kind of everything in between. So both print and digital media. So it's kind of a bit of a jack of all trades and master of none, I think, in some respects. The Facebook group was set up initially, I think it was about 2 years ago. And it really came from sort of a frustration element. And I just saw so many people trying to get people spending, literally next to nothing, 50 quid, 99 quid for a website. And it's, if you get it right, then yes, you can get some bargains out there. But then a lot of people are just stuck, left high and dry with the website they don't know how to use, they don't know how to get traffic to it, and it's just an ongoing headache, really a nightmare. So that was the creation of the Facebook group. We're close to, I think we're 580 now members, and it's all free. There's no hard sell at all. It's there as sort of a support network for majority of people, and sort of I try and teach people with WordPress, but a lot of what we talk about can be used for whatever platform. So it's a good resource, and obviously feel free to come along, join up. There's some good stuff there which you can just scroll through and hopefully pick up some stuff. Any questions you have website related, then feel free.
Thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most daunting factors of starting your own business is doing a website, right? Yeah. So I mean, the most often questions we get is what are the best and easiest website building companies, right? And even myself, when I look online, there are thousands of people offering the same service, but in slightly different ways. Some are paid, some are unpaid, and it can be quite complex and confusing for people. And it can sometimes bring people into just paying for someone. They might then not do that research on that person to see if they're offering a valid service to what caters to their needs. So I guess to question format, I'd just say, what would be your answer to our agents in terms of what are the best sort of easiest website building if you were to do it alone?
I mean, yeah, as you said, there's two ways to go about it. If you've got the budget, then it's not necessarily choosing the well, if you've got the budget, then obviously how do you know who's a good person to invest in? And I think with that one, need to go through word of mouth. Use people who have used. That's a key. Word of mouth recommendations is a good indicator of somebody's ability, and also their portfolio. See what other work they've done. With regards to doing it yourself, generally speaking, I teach people to build with WordPress. WordPress runs just over, I believe, a third of all websites online currently. So it is used by a lot of people, which means that a lot of people know how to build it and edit it, which means there's a great support network. There are a lot of free or low-cost website builders out there. The answer is whichever one feels good for you, whichever works for you. Google themselves have confirmed that it doesn't matter which system you use. Their search engine rankings are not going to give you more favor if you're using WordPress over Joomla or Wix or Weebly or whatever else is out there. A lot of it is really about the content, about your consistency, and meeting your clients, your customers' needs. So if you can reach the people and connect with them on your website, it really doesn't matter which platform you're using. There are a lot out there, and unfortunately it's kind of, if they've got free trials or they've got free entry points, then go for it, give it a go, see how you feel about it. Some of them I've used in the past are just, I build websites and some of them really confuse the hell out of me. So heaven knows what it's like for someone who's just getting started. But I mean, Wix is great. Squarespace is a good platform. There are limitations with any of the site builders because when you're building a site, you possibly don't know what you're going to want in 6 months' time. However, that shouldn't stop you from building using a site builder, because the process of building will, and also running the business online, will highlight those areas which you will then need to invest in when you come to maybe do a new site in 6 to 12 months' time. And a website will, in theory, only last you 3, maybe 3-4 years if you just, if you don't add to it, you just keep the content and keep adding content. The actual functionality, the site design, you probably want to look to rebranding the site, not your company, but the site every sort of 3 to 4 years.
And I guess, so once you have this, so obviously we're aware of some of the free website builders that can be used, and I think the idea is great, but what I would like to try and transmit is sort of how to approach them. So because a lot of people they request and they go and build a website, but I think that the most important thing of building it, I mean, regardless if you pay for it or not, is sort of the framework behind it and what you need to display. And of course, ensuring that you have a domain to be able to do so, because believe it or not, people still do create websites with domains that are not actually allowed in the mainframe. So what would be your advice in terms of framework before approaching to either a paid source or a non-paid source?
Yeah, irrespective of how you build your website, there's 2 real key areas. You need to know your market, who you're selling to, and also you need to have a bit of a plan. I mean, literally, pencil and paper is a great way forward. Post-it notes, perfect. So map out what your site's going to entail, which will be coming from, who your ICA is your ideal client avatar, your perfect customer, if you like, or client. You can look at the competition out there. Obviously, the big boys and girls out there are going to have more budget for their marketing, so we'll probably put in the research needed to get good online. So it's a great, it's a great model to follow. I won't say copy their website verbatim, but certainly use it as a guide. Yeah, I mean, really, you need to get inside your customers' heads. Think about the content you're adding. From the get-go, you should have content which meets their questions, their needs, their expectations, their aspirations on whatever level. And it's not just, these days, it's not just about demographics. You can't just say, my target market is 25 to 55 or pensioners, old age pensioners, 60 plus or 65 plus, whatever. It's more about kind of on a psychological level where their needs are, what is important to them. Also thinking about what other interests they have. Don't keep it within just for example, the travel industry. Look outside the travel industry, see what else is of a similar niche, where you can kind of almost think about cross marketing. So drifting from one niche to another.
That's good. One of the things that I do see a lot is when people are building a new website, and this is general, they tend to, everyone wants to do the normal pages, right? The home page and sort of about us page, and then an info page, and then another page, and
yeah.
and then you've got the polar opposite of someone who just has a single page with everything on it. Now, I think I don't know if it's maybe my view, but I think when you're sort of trying to engage with a consumer, I would say you need to try and have the immediate visibility when they come onto that website of what you do, how you do it in such a short, brief way. But the thing is with travel is it's difficult to display with all the offers you have available without just confusing the hell out of the consumer. So I guess when the question being, when a travel agent is sort of set up, they're starting to develop their framework, they're starting to understand what they want to do and how to transmit it. What would be your suggestion? I mean, again, it's just a suggestion, right? So in terms of travel, would you say it would be more beneficial for them to have an initial launch landing page to explain what they are, and then maybe a secondary page showing their sort of package holidays? Or do you think it could be worthwhile adding package holidays into the home page along with the bit about the business itself?
Okay, I want to say both actually, but the thing with the website is that if you kind of think about it from a bricks and mortar shop, your homepage is very much the shop window. It's very much that first impression. When you walk through the door of that shop, you can almost feel the price point of the average product there. You can feel the quality of what you're going to get, be it a holiday or be it a product. You have an idea of their customers as well. There are some shops you'll go into which maybe it's not for you because their price point is too cheap or it's too expensive. Even if you don't know the brand, you should be able to get a feel for it when you go in the shop. So the same is true of the website. The whole reason for being the homepage should be to say, this is me, this is what I'm about, or this is what my company's about. And these are the kind of people I am trying to attract. These are the people I'm selling to. Now, if your ideal client, your customers are after around the world cruises, then that's the kind of information you need to have on the homepage. I wouldn't go as granular on the homepage and say, this is what we do and this is it's just to give a taster, really. If they want to investigate more, then there should be clear call to actions on the homepage to your best package, your most profitable package, your package which fits the majority of your visitors. So obviously, if you're pushing one element and you're not getting any sales, you're pushing one offer, then it could be that the offer you're offering isn't actually meeting the expectations of the people who are coming to your website. So it's kind of a mismatch. Now that obviously has a knock-on effect with regards to the marketing, advertising if you're running it, and it all needs to be in alignment. You'll hear a lot of people talking in the online world, talking about sales funnels. Now, sales funnels are really kind of getting as many people as you can in, and then narrowing it down so that you've got people who are, this is what I'm interested in, and then they'll go down the next level. What you could actually have really is almost a single line, in that make sure your customer who's attracted to your site is following the path down to the package that you're selling. Now, obviously, with the website, you want to keep it fresh, you want to keep it updated, so there's nothing to stop you if you've got numerous offers, just focusing on one offer per week, for example, and then swapping it around, giving an next offer next week. And the key thing with websites is you've got data, you've got access to data. So you'll see that the Facebook ad that you ran for this offer did really well between, for example, Friday evening and Sunday evening, or it was a midweek thing or whatever. So this information should be feeding back into how you manage your website, how you run your website, and you can then tweak your homepage to work out what's working best, and then keep testing, keep retesting.
Yeah, I was just gonna move on to that piece. So I guess one of the next parts of, and I really think you're right in that sense of the website and marketing is completely in tandem, because if you're marketing something and your website says something else, or if that marketing piece is slightly down in your website, people are going to reach your website and think, what is this all about? This isn't what you were trying to achieve from a marketing perspective. So I guess let's say we've managed to develop that website. We've managed to place the offers in the correct place based on our niche market or our individual destinations that we're selling. I guess the next question that always follows is, what's the most efficient and cost-effective way to channel people to that website? So there's obviously a lot of marketing tools out there, and obviously there's some free actions that you can take in terms of social media, etc. What would your advice be? I mean, obviously you have experience in marketing too, so I will take advantage of that. So I guess the main aim for creating a website is to get engagement, and obviously to drive the traffic to the website is the core to be able to achieve the full game of booking holidays, right? So what would be your advice in terms of efficiency and cost effectiveness, and what channels would you consider using?
I mean, marketing for a website is multifaceted. There are numerous different areas and numerous different ways to go. If you've got the budget, then obviously paid advertising is time efficient. But I think what you need to do is kind of, I won't say be on all platforms everywhere, because it's just not manageable. In the end of the day, you won't be doing what you want to be doing. You'll be trying to market your website instead. So it's important to know who your customer is, where they're going to be. You wouldn't go into a pet group necessarily and start speaking about holidays. It's not going to be a good fit. So you need to identify where your people are. That could be Facebook, it could be Instagram, it could be Pinterest. There's numerous different platforms, social media platforms, and elsewhere as well. Social media isn't the only thing out there. There are numerous other forums and websites out there which we can explore. You need to it's a question of building the know, like, and trust element. The thing that I do in my Facebook group, I don't sell at the moment, and what I think has happened over the past couple of years is people know that they can trust me. Some of them like me, I think, and they know that I can create a website which will be there for them. It's not going to cause them any headaches, and at the end of the day, I'm in the group as well, answering their questions if they do come unstuck for whatever reason. So no matter what industry you're in, I think we need to have that connection. Majority of people I deal with are small businesses, or they're solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, single people just getting onto building a business. Now, it could be they have virtual assistants, but in essence, it's just one person. And that's the beauty of a lot of businesses these days, is that we can connect. So there are faces behind the business. And I think it's really important for business owners to step outside of their business, excuse me, and make themselves accessible, and actually be there to promote, talk about your passion, what you're selling, and get that energy going. People connect with people, not necessarily with companies. So that's definitely to your advantage. At the same time, yes, run Facebook ads. Now, those ads could be video. Video is a great platform these days for marketing, and not just, this is what I'm selling. Make it more educational, make it more entertaining. Give people something amazing to look at, that they're going to be, it's the scrolling through their feed, they'll stop at that. So show them the beautiful holidays that you've recently sold or you've got coming up. Pique their interest without actually, you don't have to do the hard sell straight away. Get them to the website, let them look on there, and then you can start, ushering them through your funnel. But certainly don't force the sale as such. So yeah, I mean, it's as I said, it's multifaceted, but in essence, it's really kind of the longer game with your organic marketing, making sure people can find you. If they're not coming to your website, then how are they going to find out about you? So think about social media, what groups you can go in, what platforms you can use to speak to people. Good old Instagram with the hashtags, little things like that. Try and find the right hashtags to get to the more people than you're currently getting, and build up your lists. If you've got a website, you've got a way of getting email addresses of people who are at least vaguely interested in what you're selling. And a warm market is so much easier to sell to than a cold audience. So the people who are expressing an interest in what you're selling, nurture those. I'm not saying sell to them straight away, but certainly, consistently, clearly give them the message, the tone that you as a business are putting out there, and just nurture those leads really, and encourage people to sign up in some shape or form.
Yeah, no, of course. I guess, I mean, just to go back onto the paid ads that you were mentioning, and the question I have a lot, and it's more a question to myself than anything, is how effective are those ads, right? Because what I know is these days, and I think it has become more apparent probably over the last 2-3 years, is that everybody is paying for ads, and you get to a point where people are reporting the ads. Not to remove them from Facebook, but to remove them from their timeline. So I guess what would be, and if you don't have the answer, it's fine, but what would be your sort of advice in terms of approaching those ads? So, I mean, not everyone is familiar with how, like, for instance, Facebook works in terms of you can do selections based on demographic and different other areas. What would your advice be in order to ensure that when you do a paid ad, what would be the sort of frequency you would look at to just bring awareness, not necessarily drive people to book a holiday, because I think that can be a bit too much, and that's coming from a salesman. So I think it's that subtle engagement that you need to do. So what would you suggest in terms of using and utilizing the AdWords?
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think a lot of people go into something like Facebook ads or Google ads thinking, right, I'm going to put £200 or $500 into this and going to get people to buy my product or my service. And it's not how it works. It really isn't. There's two ways. As you said, if your expectations are simply to have a brand awareness campaign, that's a great first step. I think that just getting more hits to your website, more traffic to your website, is a good goal. Now, how effective that is, how successful you are, depends on obviously your advert. If your advert's not meeting what people are looking for, or it's boring or bad, then people aren't going to click on it. But split testing is, I think, a very important feature. By split testing, what I mean is you have an audience. You can have a standard audience, which would be kind of your base to work from, your base platform. For example, you're maybe you're looking at certain people in a country. So if you're selling primarily to the UK, for example, then it would be people between, I don't know, say 25 and 65. That's it. That's your demographic. However, because of your market research, because your ICA work, your client avatar, you know that they have interests in horse riding and sailing, or they have interests in obviously certain destinations. You can narrow that down. So your split test, you'll have your base group, and then you'll have your group B, which will be much more targeted. So it could actually be for people between the ages of 55 and 75 who are interested in sailing and the Bahamas. Now you've got such a smaller market now, a smaller percentage of traffic compared to your everybody traffic, really. But what that will have is hopefully you'll have a much more of a more successful click-through rate for your advert. And what you can then take that split tested group B, and cut it down even more. So there'll be certain people within there which will have clicked on, so maybe males will be more likely to click than females, or vice versa. So analyze that, and again, use that maybe as your base rate, base group, and then, you know, think about another demographic which could be a little bit different in that they're not interested in Bahamas and sailing, they're interested in Tibet and Vietnamese cooking, for example. You know, so just try and literally spice it up a little bit, and just see which group is going to work. But so split testing is really important. I said before that paid ads is a quick fix. No, it's not. It is a long-term thing, and I think if you can spend, I don't know, a minimum of say £20, $30 on a 5-day campaign, just get data. Don't try and get anything. So again, do your split testing and work out where your group is. Now, it's not going to be perfect, certainly not in the early days, not unless you want to obviously up the budget and get more traffic out there. And there's nothing to stop you running 2 or 3 and even 4 different groups from a split testing perspective from the outset. That obviously that works, but then you need more budget for that. But it's all really about, you know, it's tracking the data. So you've got your adverts in place. How is that then going to knock onto your website? Again, we're talking about split testing. You could split test your website. Google have got a great tool for split testing a homepage. So you don't even need to worry about it on your website, really. You could do it through Google. They would then feed your website address to, there'll be 2 versions, and you can send people to 2 different pages. So we were talking actually about the different packages. Maybe you want to try one package versus another. And again, knowing which one is going to be successful for a particular group will then influence your marketing moving forward, perhaps. So there's different ways of using adverts. I think that Instagram and Facebook would probably, from a travel perspective, be a much more natural way forward than, say, Google Ads. Google Ads is great for a service. So if you want a plumber in Leicester, you go on Google Ads, definitely, because that's what people are going to be searching for, plumber, Leicester, or even just plumber, and Google will know pretty much where you are anyway. So, but for the visual element, the people building element, I think Facebook is a great way forward. Really is. And obviously Facebook, Instagram are one and the same these days. So it's definitely where my money would be if I was looking to start.
And so one thing that I did want to ask as well, and I think this is sort of even aimed at our own company, is when one of the features that I do think is very promising, and I know a lot of people are trying to utilize it at the moment, is when you've built a website and you get the traffic to the website. There's obviously live chat functionalities that are available, be that AI or live person. Do you find that is useful the reason I'm asking is because we have it on our site ourselves, right? So we're trying to utilize the platform to be able to explain should anyone have any questions during their journey on the website. And it has been successful. Slow initially. I don't think people are quite used to going on a website and then immediately talking to someone. I think it's a little bit overwhelming at times. Do you think that could be successful? Because the way I'm thinking is from a travel perspective. When they come to the loading page, so the initial home page, and they briefly read something about the business and what niche market or what activity that they're potentially selling. If you had a live chat, and be that AI or not, just to offer some sort of advice, or would you need any help? Is that an easy functionality to add with doing it on your own? Number one being the question, and then number two, do you think it would be useful?
The answer to the first question, I mean, WordPress, yes, it's dead easy. You know, it's literally a plugin. You can set it up within, I would say, 2 minutes. You can get that up and running, no problem. So long as you've got a Facebook ad or a Facebook account already. So the actual functionality is not a problem. There are other options there. You don't have to use just Facebook. There are other options out there. Facebook Messenger is good because, again, it's more, if you've got your Facebook pixel, which is kind of Facebook's own code, which helps you then track who is going on your site from Facebook. That gives you more information, more data to call on when you come to market and remarket as well. Is it used? I think there will be certain demographics where it's useful for. I think certain industries as well. Again, going back to my shop analogy, really, I think if you go in a shop and you have 2 or 3 people coming up to you saying, "Can I help you at all? Do you need help?" then it's going to be off-putting. So it's kind of playing it right, depending on who you're selling to. There are subtle ways of doing it. There are ways where you can encourage people to use it. So there could be an incentive. You were talking about AI. I think if you have common questions coming up, then AI, a chatbot facility, which has, 2 or 3 options. Can I help you with this? Or what are you interested in? Holiday in Asia or a holiday in America? Then something like that, where they've got 2 or 3 options. If they want to click on it, they will. If not, they'll just keep browsing. So I think AI may have serve a purpose, and obviously it then frees up you as well, so you don't have to be on there the whole time actually, "Hello, can I help you at all?" and being there one-to-one live. So yeah, chatbot is great for, especially out of hours. People are browsing at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. You don't want to be on your website trying to help all your customers. Well, you possibly do, but whether you can physically do it or not is a different matter. So there is a time and place, definitely. It really does depend on the niche and the demographic, the ICA.
And from the, so on the WordPress, when you enable, I assume there's multi plugins for these softwares. So when we're talking AI, I mean, with travel, it needs to be slightly more coded by maybe the individual. So like, "How can I help you?" is definitely not enough. If they need to answers on packages, and that I guess that's where the sort of human touch needs to come in. But there's still, I still truly believe that AI can have a good impact on that, because if you, like you said, if you ask for the place in the code for the destinations, and then they can provide some sort of feedback during that chat, that could be really, really helpful, like you said, for out of hours. So the question I have on it is, when you enable one of these plugins, are you able to adapt the coding on it to increase the number of feedbacks that it gives to the final customer?
It really depends on your budget. I'm working with one of my clients at the moment. They're quite a large car dealership, and I mean, initially the first question is, kind of, what are you looking for? Is it new car, old, used car, sale, service support, or something else? So straight away you've got 4 options. It sounds a lot, but the way it's done is quite nice. it then goes on to, you know, take you down each different path, and it narrows down exactly what you want, resulting in either a video call or a telephone call, not telephone call, but a one-to-one chat call with a salesperson or a support member of staff. So there are ways which you can really tailor make it to a business, but you know, this is the system they're using is, you know, thousands of pounds. Excuse me. For the standard Facebook Messenger, there are limited options. ManyChat is another one I'd suggest you look at. And again, you know, the basic option, it's okay, it's limited, but it's okay. I could very easily see, you know, you saying about sort of having a travel, I could see an online travel agent AI being, you know, this little friendly face, can I interest you in this, or what are you interested in, and really being, you know, very clever. It's possible, but it's a lot of money to set it up. Will be a lot of money.
All right. Well, I mean, if there are any of the guys out there and they are looking for that sort of paid option, I mean, there's obviously free options, right? In terms of the chatbots, you still have the standard chats, but if you want to add any of that extra budget in, you can go to a granular level, and it can be useful. It just depends on, you're right, the demographic really. If your demographic is not quite used to sort of technology in that sense, and wants to, I mean, you have to understand as well from a travel agency perspective, normally the demographic they come are usually I would say 40, 45 and above, maybe just about 40 would do it. And it's very visual, it's very face to face. Now, obviously, during this time, it's incredibly difficult to do something like that. So we're having to engage in a different way. And one thing that I saw recently was, which I thought was a really good idea, is adding a discussion area. And this discussion area is done by live video by this particular agency. So they can, and I would suggest anyone in the agents that are on the call to sort of look at this idea, is they're doing similar to this, like doing Zoom calls with their end consumer and running through person to person, like we are now, on what holidays they want and how to develop that. And this particular agent has that as a page on their website. So you go to the page and you can automatically chat with them. So I thought that was a fantastic functionality. I'm not sure if that's something you can do on a sort of free service wise, but I mean, it's definitely worth looking at for sure.
The thing is, with anything like that, I think if you've got the resources ready, you guys selling holidays are obviously visual. It's a multi-sensory experience, but you've got the beauty if you can get video of your destination or put together video. If you're on an online chat and you just put a little YouTube video to your holiday, that's better than any brochure can do. So I think, you know, you've kind of got to move forward with technology and the sign of the times. Gone are the days where we simply go into the travel agents on the shop corner and pick up a ton of brochures. So it really has to be, you know, a multi-sensory experience now. People are expecting more. So yeah, the way to stand out is really give them more.
And from a marketing perspective, do you? I mean, I see a lot of agencies doing exactly what we're doing, right? So podcasts and webinars and travel blogs, etc. Do you think this? I mean, obviously, podcasts been going for what 11, 12 years now. So, and they're saying that it might be the sort of end of it in the near future. But, I don't know if that's changed now because of coronavirus. But I guess my question is, do you think if, let's say, one of the agents has built a website, do you think adding a travel blog maybe to sort of advise the destinations those agents have been to and are well equipped to understand what's available, do you think they're still useful in terms of marketing?
I think so. I mean, I don't think. I mean, if it educates or entertains your target market, then yes, it's definitely useful. From an SEO perspective, then it's going to, whether we try to or not, it's probably going to meet some key phrases and keywords which your ideal clients are going to be looking for. So there could be, you know, added bonus that way. Google loves fresh content, fresh, consistent adding of content. So that's one of the reasons we have blog posts. Blog post is a great source for marketing materials. So with your blog post, you can get more Instagram stories out there. You can get little snippets and you know, put them everywhere. So it's a great resource to use. And yeah, as you said, you know, if you're a good writer and you can really get the destination, the feel of the destination in your blog post, then great, go for it. People are only going to love that.
And just on that topic, and I guess it sort of confuses everybody on how Google really place people at the top. Do you have any advice in terms of the keywords? And obviously, I mean, I'm putting you on the spot. Now, I know obviously ads, depending on how much you're spending, will go to the top. Obviously before you go down search results, and then if you have some sort of paid ad, it will boost you up the list a bit. And obviously PPC is a hell of a lot, depending on what you're utilizing it for. So I guess what would be, I mean, I guess obviously the keywords in terms of your initial name of your company helps. It does for us, certainly. Definitely for having ABB, definitely is a help. What's your sort of advice on keywords? Because there's a lot of people out there, including myself. I'm not 100% familiar with it. Could you maybe just give it like a couple of 2-3 minutes just to give us an understanding of what keywords are and how to utilize them?
I mean, I think that Google have reported there's over 200 different data points that they take into consideration when it comes to your search engine results page. So there isn't really one thing. What they've said this year is from, I think they said next year, they've given, you know, everyone an advance warning. The whole way they're going to be actually analyzing a site will be based on user experience. Now that could be an annoying pop-up will get you less points. If your website doesn't resize, if it's not responsive, so it's not visible on a mobile, it's going to get you less points. So it's really about meeting the customer's needs, what their expectations are, the content you provide. As long as the content you provide is answering the questions or the subjects that your customers are interested in, then it's going to be a good thing. So gone are the days when we have to put 1,001 keywords or specific key phrases in. By simply talking about a specific topic, you're going to be using key phrases and words which people are going to be searching for, and also words and phrases which are used when you talk about a specific topic. And those, by having those within a blog post, for example, Google will see that this post, this article, is at least on some level an authority on that topic. So it's, you know, it's just one of those things now which I think we need to start not marketing. And again, no disrespect to you, but we're not selling. We are communicating. We are reaching out to our people. We are making contact with our people. So it's really, we're not trying to market for Google. We're just trying to meet our people. So yes, keywords, phrases, I mean, they are probably a factor still, but I think it's been said that it's not as much of a factor anymore. So, you know, if you've got 3, 4, 5 words which you know people are going to be using when they talk about a specific topic, great, put those in. But certainly don't write content specifically for those words. Just write a good quality article, around about 700 words or more. Then get some images in there. If you've got video, get that in there. Video is great because obviously you can look at how long someone's watched that video for, but it will also keep them on your page longer. If you've got a 1 minute, 2 minute video, then that's possibly 2 minutes on your page, which they wouldn't have been on before if it had just been a load of words. So that's obviously going to increase your Google points as well. So yeah, just make it natural, really. I think we don't. I know a long time ago we spammed a web page with 1,001 keywords, and you had every single destination at the bottom, and there were links through to this, that, and the other. It's just not how we do things anymore. So it's good. It's, you know, it's a way forward. It's all natural now. It's almost an organic Google, I think. So it's how it should be.
No, that's great. I'm just conscious of time, as we seem to be already running out. I had a feeling that might happen. Jonathan, I'm just going to ask you 2 questions that we ask on every show. It's completely unrelated to what you do, but it's just a little bit of fun. We always ask our guests what travel means to them. And I'm going to direct the question to you, although I know it's unrelated, but we just always like to see the opinion. What does travel mean to you?
Well, before I went into marketing, I was teaching English around Europe for near enough 10 years. So I won't say that was my travel bug spent, but certainly I got a bit of traveling then. For now, with a family, then it's somewhat different to what it was then. But I think my hopes of travel is it's somewhere where I can broaden my mind and just breathe. I think, you know, it's that space I require. It's space for the soul, allowing the soul a holiday as much as the body.
Absolutely, I totally agree. And last one was your favorite destination and why, and it cannot be here. It cannot be the UK.
Oh, no. Favorite destination. I think probably Tenerife. Tenerife's good. I've been there a couple of times now, and I do like it. I guess I feel like it's a bit of a home from home. So that's good. I had a photography job in China a few years ago, and that was eye-opening. It was quite it was an interesting experience, let's put it that way. And I think there's a good side to, obviously it was a business trip, so it's not exactly travel
pleasure.
for pleasure, but yeah, it was certainly eye-opening. And I think there are good ways of traveling and bad ways. So I think, yes, it was business trip, but it was still an enjoyable experience.
Oh, fantastic. Right, Jonathan, again, thank you for your time. I'm going to move on to some questions from the agents now. Guys, feel free to ask any questions. I'm seeing them come through already, so I'll go ahead. One of our agents, Jonathan, called Lily, is asking a question. What type of content can you add to your Facebook page to attract customers other than latest offers and deals? I was thinking of adding travel blogs as well, but I know most of the time people scroll through and prefer not to read long posts. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook is it is literally that, isn't it? You know, it's quick. So I think we need to be wary of adding tons of text within Facebook. Video's great. I mean, you're trying to stop the scroll in essence. So having an image of your next offer, your photo of that perfect destination, it's just grabbing people's attention in Facebook. But from there, obviously, you can send people to your website. You can give them a link. If they want to read your beautiful blog post, then they can. It's really just trying to get people's attention, but get it so that it's you're connecting with people. So again, ask them what's their dream destination, what was their favorite holiday, and also get them to think out the box a little bit. So not only sticking with exactly holiday destinations, trying to think about other areas which you can explore, which may have a tentative link to what you're doing. I'm thinking about travel blogs. I mean, there's nothing wrong with travel blogs. Travel blogs are great, and obviously a lot of people are interested in finding about a place or just reading someone's experience. So there will be people out there. It's just a question of making sure those people are either on your page, and if they're not on your page, how can you get them to your page? So make sure your personal profile as well is linked to your page. You know, you've got some information on there with your business details and or your Facebook page information there.
Okay, great. And then another one from Alessandro. He's asking, is there any software for plagiarism and pictures copyright on the web?
As in, I'm presuming Alessandro means as in seeing who else is using your images on the web. There are. I don't know what they are at the moment, but if you search for it, then I'm sure there'll be something. To be honest, if you've got an image and you think it's being used, then you obviously manually you can do it. You can just do an image search within Google and see if it comes up anywhere. But yes, there are services out there that do it for obviously a monthly fee or whatever. But exactly what, I do not know.
Okay, all right, no worries. And then a question from Serene, which I guess I could probably answer. She's asking, how can we learn to design our own website to our market, and there resources are there resources you could recommend to understand this? Now, I'm not gonna answer because this is your time to sell. So please fire away.
Well, without selling, yeah, come to the Facebook group. I mean, we're currently on day 5, 6 of a challenge, and I'm literally taking people step by step through the process of building a website. All we're doing at the moment is getting people familiar with different elements. So day 1 we set up hosting and the domain name. I've got to think about this now. Day 2 we got WordPress in place. Day 3 we were looking at themes, so the actual, you know, the layout and the design element. So we're literally going step by step, 15-minute chunks, which is a bit of a challenge for me, let alone anyone else. Just trying to keep it all down to minimum information. You can get started on ionos.com for, I think it's £2 plus tax plus VAT. So yeah, and that's a free domain name in there as well. So it costs nothing almost to get started. So have a look on my Facebook group. If apart from that, there are lots of courses out there, really. I mean, YouTube is great for free resources. My concern about YouTube is the fact there's so much conflicting information. There's a lot of old information as well. I mean, anything these days, technology-wise, moves at such a speed that if you stop for, 6 months, everything's changed. So beware of it being old information. But yeah, come and join my group.